everyone, and welcome to this video for multi-platform software development. This video is going to cover how to confirm a delete action so that we can ensure that when the user clicks a delete button or otherwise invokes a delete action that they really want to delete the selected record, will get their confirmation answer and only delete if they decide they want to. So let's get started. So we're looking at our sample application that shows a list of invoices that are being read from a JSON service. In this list, we have two buttons next to each item, one button for edit and another button for delete. That's the button with the X on it. And the way that the app is currently set up is that when we click on a delete button next to a particular item, that item is immediately removed from the collection. When we remove an item, the button command is tied to this little delete method. Now, as of right now, the delete method is just removing the invoice item from our observable collection, and it's not actually persisting the changes to the JSON file. However, the technique that we're about to look at can be used to confirm remove from any source. So we can place this confirmation around this remove action. It will work the same whether we're trying to confirm a delete action from a JSON service or a delete call to a database service or any other action that we're trying to confirm. So for now, we want to only remove the given item if the user confirms it. Now in this particular app, that means that we want to bring up a dialog box or a confirmation alert that prompts the user to be sure they want to delete this item, and they have the option to choose either yes, I do want to delete, or cancel, we don't want to delete. The return of that is a Boolean, and we're going to write an if statement that only executes this remove if that Boolean is true. So in here, we're going to put in our if statement, and we'll wrap our remove statement inside the if logic. Now for the if logic, this is where we want to place the confirmation. Now the problem here is that a confirmation dialog is something that interacts with the user. It's part of the user interface. However, I'm working here in the view model. And our goal with a view model is to keep it as separate from the user interface as possible. Our view model shouldn't know anything about any of the pages, any of the XAML files, or anything else about the UI. The relationship goes the other way, where our view knows about the view model, but our view model, that's this file, shouldn't know about the view. So we're not interested here in how the confirmation message gets shown to the user or how we're going to prompt them to enter their selection. We're just interested in that outcome. We're going to offload the actual specifics of how the values are returned from the user into another class. This is similar to how we did the navigation example in class. When we wanted to navigate from one part of the app to another, we offloaded the details of that into a navigation service. In this case, we want to offload the details into a message service so that we can present a message to the user and have their response recorded. So I'm going to start by creating our message service in the services folder. We'll add a new class called message service. Now I'm going to set this up as a static class. And right now, we only need the one method, a confirmation method. The input parameter to this method is going to be the title or the text that's going to show up to the user. That way we'll be able to use it for other things other than delete confirmations as well. It's going to be just a pretty generic method that displays an alert that says yes or cancel. We want to be able to call this asynchronously so that it doesn't hang up the rest of the user interface. So we're going to create this method as an asynchronous task that returns a Boolean result. We'll call it confirm. Now I mentioned that we might want to change the title that's displayed to the user. We're going to take in that title as a string input parameter, but I also want to provide a default. So we'll have the default outcome say delete record, and if we ever want it to say something else, we can pass in a different title. For now, we'll just assume that we can get the default in there. And our goal is to display an alert to the user with a yes and a cancel option, asking them if they're sure they want to do this action. So we're going to use the display alert method to do so. In order to do that, in this particular context, we are going to ask our current iteration of the shell to display the alert message. And we've got a few input parameters here, the first one being the title that is going to come in as the input parameter, or the default delete record if one isn't passed. So we're going to set the title and then the message. Well, this is designed to be a confirmation, so we're going to ask, are you sure? Now, next, we have a few different options. The default option, or the first option rather, for alerts is to just have one button to say cancel. But in our case, we want it to be an obvious yes or no answer. So I'm going to use a different constructor that allows us to have two strings, one for the accept or the true option, and then the other for the cancel or the false option. So we'll put in yes for the good option, and we'll put in cancel for the no option. Because this thing is going to return the bool, that's what we want to return from our task. So I've written this as a typical method. You can also write it as an expression-bodied method by removing the return and the brackets and putting in instead the arrow notation. The reason why I chose to write it the other way is so that we don't scroll it off the right side of the screen. So either one of these formats is going to work great for providing a confirmation. Now that we've got our confirm method all set up, we're going to go back to our view model and ask our message service to send a confirmation message to the user. It's an asynchronous method, and you'll notice that once I choose to use await inside the method body, that my method return type has changed from void to async task. That happened automatically, but if it doesn't, you need to go in and manually make that change. You can't use the await keyword to call asynchronous methods without making your current method asynchronous as well. So we're going to ask our message service to please confirm. And the title here is optional. Delete record is a pretty decent option if we want to bring up that title, but we can be even more specific if we want to provide more information about the thing that we are deleting. So for example, this item, if we wanted to provide a confirmation that asks us about the item by name, we can say something like this to delete the item description. So instead of just saying delete record, it'll say delete whatever that description is. That way the user can also use the confirmation to ensure that they click the correct delete button for the record that they wanted to delete. So now that we've got this confirmation option happening here, we are going to just run the app again, and we'll give it another try. Make sure that when we click on the delete button, we're only deleting records that are confirmed. When I select one and we want to delete it, when I click the delete option, you'll see there's the confirmation that's happening. It's showing us the description. I had done it here beside item 3, so it's asking us, are we sure we want to delete item 3? And if I press cancel, that's going to give us the false outcome. The item did not get deleted. And we can try this on various different items with all the same result, that it's not being deleted unless we click on yes. So if we click on yes, the item does get deleted from the collection as we expect. So it's a fairly simple little change, but one that provides a lot of value to the user, and it helps them avoid making mistakes and deleting things that they wanted to keep. So I hope you found this video helpful, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, see you in the next one.